Hello, everyone. Ooh, that's loud. Hi, everybody. So we're asking everyone to come and take your seats. And if you could just fill in right here at the very front, table, I think 1 right there, table 21, that table right here. On the edge right here, if you could fill in that table. You see that table right there? Yes. Thank you so much. So welcome to Techwork 2019. We are so excited that you are here. And so for those who are still coming in, we're just going to have you fill in around the interior circle here. And again, thank you for coming today. We are so excited. We have some amazing table coaches, wave table coaches. I see you at the door. They are lined up and ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and get started. This is Tech 2020, Techwork with CVC Tech 2020. And we are just so excited that you are here. The members of the Congressional Black Caucus in 2015 started Tech 2020 to really fill the gap that we know persisted in ensuring that there was a pipeline of African Americans into the tech industry. And so what we have today is a conversation with leading individuals who are in the tech industry on how you break into the roles that are at tech industries, how you prepare yourself, how you follow that career path. And so they are going to lead the discussions at the table, and we are looking forward to it. So at this time, we are going to have all of our table coaches come in. So if we could cue up the video so that I can introduce all of our table coaches. So, and I know there's going to be a little bit of music in the background, I think. Yes. So first we have from Accenture, Ilya Rodriguez. So please clap for her as she comes. Here she comes. Our table coaches, if you can come all the way in. Yep. All right, so this is Ilya from Accenture. So come on across, and then you'll come on this side. Just wave to everybody. Thank you, Ilya. All right, next we have from Accenture, Mark Akweye. Thank you. You can go have a seat. Yep. Thank you, Mark. Next, we have from Adobe, Karita Mero. She's the Diversity and Inclusion Talent Program Manager. Thank you, Karita. Next, we have Janae Ingram, who is the Director of National Partnerships at Airbnb. Thank you, Janae. Next, we have from Airbnb, Ty McCrae. She's the Government Affairs and Strategic Partnerships Lead. Thank you, Ty. Next, we have Marilyn Davis, who's the Area Director of Government Affairs for Altice Mobile. Hello. Next, we have the individual who founded this event, Mr. Troy Clare, the Senior Policy Manager at Amazon.
Thank you,
Absolutely. Next, we have from the Congressional App Challenge, Blake Bibbs, the Congressional Operations Coordinator. Thank you, Blake. Next, we have Ms. Tiffany Moore, who is the Senior Vice President of the Consumer Technology Association. Thank you, Tiffany. Next, we have Mr. David Pilson, who is at eBay. He's the Senior Director for Compensation, Benefits, and Securities Governance. Thank you, David. Next, we have Zariah Washington, who's the Senior Vice President of the Expedia Group. Thank you so much, Ms. Washington. Next, we have Chris Randall, who is a manager of U.S. policy at Facebook. Thank you so much, Chris. Next, we have, I don't see William. Is William back there? All right, so we're going to go on to Madison Jacobs, who is with Google, who's the head of content for Google for Startups. Hi, Madison. Next, we have Jonathan Priester, who's the Global Black Community Inclusion Lead with Google. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Next, we have Ms. Valisha Butterfield-Jones, who's the Global Head of Community Inclusion at Google. And we also have my soror, Michelle Jawando, who is at Google, and your title is?
Head of Progressive Engagement in U.S.
Yay! All right, yay, Michelle. Next, we have from Hustle, Miss Zandria Haynes, who is the Director of Partnerships. Thank you so much. Next, we have Aaron Moore, who is at LinkedIn and is a policy analyst. Thank you so much. Next, we have from Lyft, Elise Richards, who is the Community Affairs Organizer of Public Policy. Next, we have Ms. Darissa Griffin, who is the Chief of Staff at MMTC, the Multicultural Media, Technology, and Internet Council. Next, we have Mr. Chris Lewis, who is the President and CEO of Public Knowledge. Thank you so much. Next, we have Mr. Derek Drayford, who is the President of Purpose University. Thank you so much, Derek. Next, we have Daryl Peak, who is the Senior Manager of Global Government Solutions at Salesforce. Thank you so much. Next, we have Courtney Robinson, who is the Financial Inclusion Lead for Square. Thank you so much, Courtney. Next, we have Andrew Collins, who is the Regulatory Counsel for Uber. Thank you so much, appreciate you. Next, we have from Yelp, Michelle Billingsley, who is the Local Business Partner. Thank you so much, appreciate you. Yay! Next, we have Sierra Jackson, who is the Director of Social Movements and Advocacy Partnerships with EveryAction.com. And last but not least, we have Jason Coles, who is the founder of Katika. So nice to meet you. So we are so grateful for all of our amazing coaches. As you can see, they really cover the gamut on so many different areas and entities within the tech sector, from education to corporation. So we are so excited for them to be here on today. So they're going to wait for just a second. They're going to take a picture over there. Okay. If they're taking a picture, I'm going to go slide in the picture, okay? I'll be right back. All right, so before, all of you all can sit back down. So before we release them to go out to all of the tables, we're going to have remarks from our two chairs of CBC Tech 2020. So we have Congressman G.K. Butterfield, who is my boss, who is one of the co-chairs of CBC Tech 2020 and the CBC Diversity Task Force. As you know, he represents the North Carolina 1st District. He is a former Congressional Black Caucus chair, and he sits on the Energy and Commerce Committee, as well as the committees on House Administration and Steering and Policy. He is an advocate for inclusion and diversity, not only on boards and in C-suites, but at every phase and every level. So at this time, we call forth Congressman Butterfield.
Thank you, Kendra. Let me say good afternoon to all of you, and thank you so very much for coming to be a part of this conversation today. I apologize for the delay in starting the program, but we had some logistical challenges, but we have finally worked through those challenges, and we are now ready to get started. Along with Congresswoman Barbara Lee, I'd like to welcome you to this 2-hour segment. We're going to, over the next 90 to 120 minutes, have a very robust conversation about technology and how you can break into the tech space. When I was chairman of the Congressional Black Caucus 3 or 4 years ago, I went to Barbara Lee because I knew she had been working on these issues, diversity and inclusion issues, for many years. And I said to Barbara, look, as chair of the CBC, I want to bring to the forefront an initiative that can really take on diversity and inclusion among Fortune 500 companies. And she welcomed the opportunity, and so we created what is called CBC Tech 2020. Initially, we wanted to take on all of the Fortune 500 companies in America, but finally we came to our senses and realized that we did not have the bandwidth to take on that type of project. And so we just decided to isolate our efforts on the technology sector. Why? Because there's so much lack of inclusion among technology companies. We knew that, but we wanted to get the data to support it. And so we did a deep dive into the data and looked at all of the data that was available from technology companies, and we came to the conclusion that that was absolutely where we needed to start, because there's so much opportunity in technology. And so we launched the CBC TECH2020, and now we're in year 5, and we have moved the needle. I believe that we are moving in the right direction. Congresswoman Lee and myself and others have been to Silicon Valley on 3 or 4, maybe 5 occasions, met with the senior execs from most of the technology companies, from the CEO on down. And we have commitments from most of them, not going to say all of them, but we have commitments from most of them that they're going to work with us to try to recruit more talent into the company from African American communities. And so I want to challenge you to go back to your homes and go back to your communities and encourage young African Americans to get involved in the technology sector. They need to start not in high school, but in middle school. Some of our coaches today may say they need to start in elementary school, but we need to get out the minds of our young people on technology jobs, because these are the jobs of the 21st century. We're told that they will need 1.5 million new workers in technology over the next 5 years, 1.5 million. And if we continue to graduate graduates at the rate we are graduating now, we will only fill 1 million of those 1.5 million jobs. The jobs are there, the business opportunities are there, and these coaches who have come with us today are willing to give up their time and their talents to talk with you and to come up with creative solutions to moving the needle in the right direction. So thank you so very much for coming. At this time, it is now my privilege and my pleasure to bring up to the stage a dear, dear friend of all of us, Congresswoman Barbara Lee. Congresswoman Lee has been on the Hill now for many, many years. She started off with Congressman Ron Dellums of California as his chief of staff, and later she was elected to replace Dellums in the House of Representatives, and she has been just a leading voice for so many issues for so many years. Barbara Lee, incidentally, will be the recipient of the Phoenix Award tomorrow night at the Black Caucus dinner. Please receive Congresswoman Barbara Lee.
Good afternoon. First, let me just say to my friend, Judge Congressman G.K. Butterfield, where is G.K.? Here you are. This is the first time I've heard that announcement, except when you made it with regard to the Phoenix Award, and it just still forces me to come to grips with the fact that this is happening, first of all, and I am speechless as a result of the announcement. And I just want to thank you for that, Congressman Butterfield, because this is just such an honor, a privilege, and I never thought of myself as being anyone worthy of such a great award as the Phoenix Award. I just do my work, hopefully trying to do the Lord's work on this earth, and that's what it's about, so thank you. Goodness. And let me just say to Congressman Butterfield, you know, oftentimes we take on many, many initiatives of the Congressional Black Caucus, our committee work, whatever we're doing through our task forces, and oftentimes a lot of them aren't sustainable. But TECH2020 has been sustainable. Congressman Butterfield gave you a bit of the history, and I just want to thank you, because this could have stopped during your tenure as the CBC chair, but we pushed and we pushed to make sure that we continued with TECH2020. And today, we are really beginning to see the progress, step by step, but we want to make it bigger, bolder, and faster, because as Reverend Jackson, and we work very closely with Reverend Jackson and the Rainbow Coalition, we talk about not only diversity, but also about racial equity and racial inclusion. And so this is really another issue around civil rights. It's an issue about making sure that there's justice in the job and in the C-suites and in the contracting and in all of the aspects of the tech sector. So thank you again, GK, for this. And I want to just say to the coaches, gosh, it's so good to see so many of you here, and I want to thank you. And also, I want to say to these companies that they know how to poach our staff from Capitol Hill also. But trust me, our staff make such a major contribution to the overall work of the Congressional Black Caucus and our members. And I think the tech sector really is smart enough to see that. And so it's so good to see everyone here and to see you sharing what you know about the space with those of you who are interested in it or may want to know more about it, to teach younger children about why it's important to learn technology, or for whatever reason. But you're sharing what you know with our audience today and our participants, and I just want to salute you for that, because this is the way it works. Each one teach one, and we have to bring others along as we climb, and we must lift up others. So thank you all very much for being here. Let me just say just a couple of things about my district, which is next door to Silicon Valley. And you know, I consider the 13th Congressional District the wokest district in the country. But it faces many challenges because for years I've been trying to work for racial equity and inclusion in the tech sector, because it's my constituents right next door to Silicon Valley which never were able to break through. We filed lawsuits, we've done all kinds of work before GK became chair of the Black Caucus. And so once he became chair, my district began to become more included into all of the aspects of the tech sector. And so that's the impact to Northern California, which I believe Congressman Butterfield has made an impact because of the leadership of the CBC when you were chair. So just thank all of you for being here today. You have some real live African-American brilliant mentors to help you, and I hope that you make meaningful connections and be inspired by their work, because they're the ones who are inside these companies and who know the rules of the game, but also they know how to break those barriers, which are very, very entrenched. And we know what systemic barriers there are. So thank you again very much for being here. And I want to thank Kendra, I want to thank Shelley, I want to thank all of our staffs for putting this together, and thank all of you for being here, and God bless.
All right, thank you, Congressman Butterfield and Congresswoman Lee. So at this time, I just want to give a special thank you to the sponsors of our event for today, and that would be Google. This would not be possible without their support, so let's please give them a hand. We also have another supporter in Accenture, and they have a demonstration back in the back, and so we sincerely appreciate your support as well. Please give them a hand. And in that regard, we are now going to hear from Ms. Teresa Lundy, who is going to share with you on behalf of Google. She is the Chief of Staff to the Global Diversity and Inclusion Director, the Chief Diversity Officer for Google. So she is going to come at this time. Thank you so much, Ms. Lundy.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. All right, thank you all for being here, and I also want to give a specific thank you to Representative Butterfield and Representative Lee for really driving this work forward. I want to thank the entire Workforce Diversity Task Force for 2020, and I also want to take a moment to congratulate and thank the Congressional Black Caucus for all the work you've done for decades. This room would literally not be possible without both of your leadership, so thank you very much. So why are we proud to sponsor this event, and why are we here? At Google, our mission is really to organize the world's information to make it accessible and useful for everybody. And we really mean everybody. We mean this room. We mean people not in this room. We mean people in this country. We mean people outside this country, really everybody. And to do that, we need to look like everybody. I'm very proud to say in 2018, Google saw the largest gains it has ever seen in diversity and representation at the company. It's an incremental increase, and it's not enough. And it's something all of our tech companies are struggling with and we're trying to figure out. Because the future is now. And if we don't do something now, the future just might be gone. And so that's why we're all here today, because tech needs all of you. We, of course, at Google need all of you, but really the entire industry needs all of you. So in these next 60 minutes, 45 minutes, however long, please pick the brains of all the coaches, get to know what it means to be in tech, to drive change in tech, and really just get involved in tech. The tech products change the world. And I want everyone in this room to be at the forefront of that change. So get your notebooks out, get your pen ready, get your paper ready, take what you learn for yourself and share it with others in your community. And most of all, make sure you are building the right connections in your community. So thank you very much, and enjoy the next hour.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Ms. Lundy. At this time, we are going to start our table coach discussion. So at this time, all of you are welcome to go to a table, and here you go. All right, let's make sure there's coverage. And so what's going to happen next, there are going to be conversations that happen at each table. Every table coach has a set of questions that are prompts and is a start for the conversation, but I'm sure that there will be conversation that will continue. After the conversations, all of you are welcome to go to our resource tables in the back, and there will also be a mix and mingle. We have food in the middle here. All right. All right, so let me see if everybody has a coach. We have some more coaches coming. I see someone else from Google who came in, Ms. Chanel Hardy. Wave your hand, Chanel. Thank you so much. So our table coaches are to sit where there is not currently a coach. If there are more tables or more people, then we can double up. But I just want to make sure.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yes. Please raise your hand if you don't have a coach at your table. All right, that's a good problem to have. So with that in mind, we can have a few of our coaches who double up at some of the conversations. I would ask that if there are more individuals from one company, that you would kind of spread the love and not sit with someone who is also from your company. All right? All right, so does everyone have a table? I see more, see a few coaches back there. I see some volunteers from Uber back there. Wave your hand. Yep. All right, so everyone is set. If there are a few tables that have just a few people, you're welcome to collapse with another table also. I think that's a good option, all right? All right, so I see that everyone has a coach, has at least one at a minimum, right? All right, and with that, we are going to start our conversations. It is 3 o'clock, so we are going to talk at our tables for approximately 40 minutes, okay? So at this time, you can begin. Thank you. So as you wrap up, the final thoughts. As you wrap up your final thoughts, just want to sincerely thank everyone for being a part of the conversations. What we, of course, have as our concluding event is a mix and mingle where you are all invited to speak with table coaches in a mingle session, because there may be someone who's at a table who you wanted to speak with who wasn't assigned to your table, so we encourage you to do that. We also encourage you to also stop by our resource tables in the back. We have MMTC, the Social Engineering Project. We have a Bite Back. We have Accenture. We have Black Girls Code, and we have Public Knowledge. So at this time, thank you all so much. Let's give our table coaches a hand. Thank you all so much for being a part of our conversation and discussion on today. So let's continue the conversation. You're welcome to go back. We have High Boys back there, our tables back there in the back for you to get some food, mix and mingle, visit our resource tables, and thank you so, so, so much. Thanks, everyone.